What's up guys, welcome back. If this is your first time visiting my channel, welcome. My name is Morgan, I'm a recent UX UI design bootcamp graduate from Career Foundry, and I'm just documenting my journey as I transition from digital marketing into the UX design field, and I offer advice where I can. So today's video is about a question that I get a lot, and that's, is your background relevant enough to UX design to pursue a career? The answer is yes. Yeah. If you're just looking for a yes or no answer, then the answer is yes. You most definitely have a relevant background to UX design because every background is relevant to UX design. There's this big worry for everyone who wants to be a UX designer that doesn't have a background in graphic design or an otherwise artistic background, that they're not going to be as competitive in the job market, and that's just not true. Obviously, what's more important than your background is the skills that you currently possess or the skills that you have the potential to possess. But you're not here for that kind of talk. I'm going to talk to you about how to connect your background to UX design and how to find your unique design perspective. Just first, let me talk a little bit about why every background is relevant. Like I said earlier, people think that you need some sort of artistic graphic design background, and in reality, that can actually hinder you. I've actually spoken to team leads who have said that they prefer candidates who don't have a graphic design background because they feel that it sort of narrows their scope, particularly that they're unable to relate to business goals. UX design is a unique combination of analytical, creative, and social skills. When you just narrow in on one thing, like if you come from a graphic design background, and you're only focused on the creative and you're unable to see the analytical or social side of things, then you're unable to do the complete job. This sounds like I'm hating on people who have a graphic design background. Not at all. You guys are incredibly talented. I'm just focusing on the fact that people with a graphic design background may not have been exposed to things like understanding business goals, or maybe the social skills that you need to interview people. And the same thing goes for someone like me with a marketing background. Not super creative. I've got to learn the creative part. Going into UX design, I had the analytical and business part down, but not so much the interviewing skills per se, or the creative skills. You need to have a holistic approach to UX design. I just wanted to let you guys know that you don't need a graphic design background in order to pursue this field. Every background gives you a unique perspective, which I'll go into a little bit more later, but just the very basic skills that you need for these jobs. So if you have a tech background, then you're able to understand new softwares and be analytical. That's important for UX design. My battery died, so sorry if things are a little bit different. So like I was saying, if you come from customer service, then you probably have exceptional problem solving and communication skills. If you come from marketing like me, then you're able to understand business goals and understand end users. If you come from something like construction, you have experience working in a team, as well as the experience of working with harsh deadlines. You could be a marine biologist and still be able to talk about your observation and analytical skills and your ability to compile and explain data. Everything is relevant. So in order to understand what applicable skills you have from your previous experience, what I like to do is I like to think about why I got into that field to begin with. So for example, I got into marketing because I thought that was going to be a creative position where I would also get to problem solve. It was not that. I also thought that I'd be able to connect consumers with the business and create a positive experience. So I was advocating for the users and the user experience without knowing what UX design was. I feel like that's the case for a lot of people, is that they get into a certain field for the reasons that they would have gone into UX design had they known it existed. Now I want to talk a little bit about how to find your unique design perspective. People think that they need to completely change their mindset when they're transitioning careers, but in fact, you should avoid doing that. Your experience is your experience, and that's exactly what makes you a unique candidate and a unique designer. People think that they need to get rid of their experience and just completely become a blank slate, when in reality, you should just be adding on top of what you already know and what you've already experienced. So thinking back to that idea of how to identify what your applicable skills are, what did get you into your previous field that also got you into UX design? So for me, it's the creative problem solving. And that's generally how you'll determine why UX is important to you or why UX is important in general. Perhaps you're passionate about helping people. Maybe you really love research. Maybe you love interviewing people. Maybe you're really into the artistic or techie side of things. That's your unique perspective. You approach your design process with certain goals and a certain importance in mind. So for me, it's really about keeping the user in mind throughout my entire process. Someone else, it might be making a beautiful and easily navigable application. It could be simplifying complex applications. It could be using data to understand users. You decide what's important to you throughout your design process. And that's what makes you a unique designer, is how you approach your project. I also want to talk about applying this to design interviews. So interviewers often want to understand your design process and they want to understand how your brain works. Just like people, every company is different. They might be looking for a UX designer with an analytical mind. They may be looking for someone who's more creative, or they may even be looking for a quality like great leadership skills. So make sure that you don't discount your background. Don't act like it doesn't exist. Things that may seem irrelevant or minuscule to you could be a deciding factor for an interviewer. For example, I was asked about a problem that I solved. I brought up a previous position where I helped the president learn how to write emails confidently because he wasn't a native English speaker. I also showed the vice president how to be more honest in feedback and explained why feedback and critiquing is important. This isn't necessarily UX design focused, but it's a quality that they liked in me, and the interviewer, as far as I can tell, was impressed with my answer. Neither of those examples were even task related. That was when I was in a digital strategist role. It didn't really have to do with my work. It had to do with the type of person that I am. So think back. In every role, you're probably going to develop some sort of problem-solving skills. Maybe you have to accept feedback and criticism. I'm sure that you've developed communication skills by speaking to team members, customers, stakeholders, whatever your previous position was. Even softer skills like empathy. These are all things that are important and are relevant to UX design. So this obviously isn't the type of video that I normally make. My videos are usually pretty factual. This one's more about making you guys feel confident in your career choice. If you're getting into UX design for the right reasons because of whatever your unique design perspective is, then that's amazing. And I know what it feels like to feel insecure in a field of UX designers that have really great illustration or otherwise creative backgrounds, and you're just like, well, I can't do what they do. But they can't do what you do. You don't know what that company you're applying for may need. I know that I'm not going to get a job because of my incredible illustration skills or my incredible color palettes or anything like that. I'm going to get a job because they need someone with my unique design perspective. My unique design perspective is keeping business goals and the end users in mind when I'm creating my apps. This doesn't mean that that's all I am. I'm constantly growing and I'm trying to become a well-rounded designer, as you should be. Don't count yourself out before you even get an interview. You made the right decision. If you're here, you made the right decision. It shows that you care about your career. So yes, your background is relevant to UX design, and I hope that you guys take something away from this video. And if you're able to figure out what your UX design perspective is, I would love to hear what it is if you leave it in the comments down below. Tell me what makes you a unique designer. I would really love to hear it. That's it for today's video. I will be back soon. Have a good one. Bye.